Hi, welcome to The Truth with Tal and Isaac. I'm Tal.
I'm Isaac.
Episode number 149 coming at you, and it's a big one.
Huge episode.
Huge episode. A couple of big things happened today. It's Sunday, so NRL finals, and it's Oscar night. So big stuff. We're going to talk about Detroit basketball. It's hot. We do have some NBA hot takes, and then we need to talk a little bit about hockey. Four Nations, it's a big deal.
Hockey may be back.
Hockey might be back.
Okay, let's go off the tops.
Okay, NBA All-Star Game. Listen, I think we just need to talk about it for a moment. It's funny because they try and mix it up and think, it's going to be better this time. It's amazing how little they care. Wemby seemed to be the only guy who really cared.
Yeah.
Because he tried to cheat with Chris Paul.
I don't care at all. It's not worth discussing. No.
It used to be good. Honestly, when I was a kid, it was awesome.
That must have been cool because, on paper, it's really cool. Because you've got, all the big guys in a place on one night. I really never had an all-star game that I remember, that's cool, that's a big deal. I've never had a Dominique versus Mike dunk contest thing. I haven't had that, right?
It was amazing.
It must have been nice. But
can we blame LeBron or no?
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm not doing that bit, but sure.
Okay. LeBron.
Let him know. He listens.
I know you listen to the show. You're still the face of the NBA. Try harder. Even put pressure on the kids to try harder.
Slip him some money. Slip him some German drugs that you take.
Dude.
Can I say that or no?
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it's a fact. He did go to Germany for the treatment of his feet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
That's fine. Germany's part of the EU. EU is good now.
Okay.
RIP Coach Normandale and Gene Hackman. He was a great actor and had some significant roles in some big movies. You just watched Crimson Tide for the first time.
Crimson Tide, good movie. Gene Hackman.
Really,
actor.
really good. 4.0?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman, my guy. Look up some Gene Hackman movies. I'm sure Coach Rob's a Gene Hackman guy.
Sure.
That's just up his alley.
I heard Coach Rob had some visitors yesterday, some scandalous people in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't know. Coach Rob just sent me a picture. He got some nice new glasses.
Gold glasses from Urban Paul.
So shout out Coach Rob.
Which is, I got Urban Paul beard approved on. Wow. If you're not listening to this, you should just turn on the YouTube for a minute.
You should just turn it off if you're not listening.
No.
If you're not listening, you're doing something right.
Yeah, you're doing right. Okay. I'd like to hear, Youngblood just went to Portugal. Let's hear a little bit about Portugal. That's a big deal.
Okay. You want to do this now?
Yeah, I want to do it now. Fans want to hear it.
Okay, you can ask some questions about Portugal. Whatever's worth discussing, I'll delve into.
Okay. What was the most interesting sports thing that you did in Portugal?
Good question. We saw a Champions League game, a Benfica game. We bought $5 scarves outside the stadium. And
How much does a ticket cost?
Varying, but I don't want to incriminate myself. We did not spend a lot.
No,
some people
average.
Did.
Some people
didn't.
What's
I don't
the people who spent a lot of money? Is that 200 euros?
I don't know. Maybe. I didn't ask.
Okay.
We saw a Champions League game. We sat in very good seats.
It's awesome.
We made friends with... Actually, I'll tell you this. This is a good bit.
Yeah.
So, once you're at a game, you get into it if you're a sports guy.
Sure you do.
And
doesn't matter the sport.
Yeah, I'm not a huge soccer guy, but if I'm there in person, I'm a huge soccer guy for the next 2 hours. And I know enough of the game.
Some good years with Kubota and Chicharo.
Thank you. Yeah. So, what the new thing I started to do was I'd go on Google Translate, go English to Portuguese, and then I would type in, swear words or phrases that I would use if I were watching a Lions or a Pistons
He's a war criminal. Did you
I
pull that one out?
I didn't do that.
Oh.
Because I am overseas. I had to be careful. So I'm I would just type in, you can kind of put together some of the things I'd say. And the people around me that I made friends with, I would, hold my phone up. And I would have the translation. And I'd be like, can I say this? And they're like, oh, yeah. And then they'd tell me, or they'd say no. A couple of them were like, hey, don't say that, dude. So then I got all these phrases, and then they would give me some phrases.
Did you give the fans one or two phrases?
No way. So they basically, I can't say them, but it was we would call refs things, we would call opponents things, we would chant.
Fun.
And most of the time I didn't know what I was saying, and they kind of said, hey, that's crossing a line, Canadian. Or they'd be like, hey, say that, Canadian, that's good, people will laugh.
Nice.
So then by the end, the whole section knew me as this Canadian that would just they'd just tell me to say something and I'd say it.
Nice.
So they had good fun with that.
Good.
And I didn't get, in trouble.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Food. You get some good tarts?
Yeah, tarts are the big thing.
Pastel de nata, so good.
Yeah, I don't really...
Ken loves those.
Yeah, initially we were like, yeah, whatever, tarts. And then we had them, they're actually real solid. So then we kind of would just
Have you had them in Canada before?
I don't know. Not recently. So we had some good tarts. I had some good fish. But we had a lot of different food. And then it was corner store groceries, we can get like a lot of pears and bananas for like an absurdly low number of euros. Let's do that.
Nice.
So we would do that sometimes to like get groceries. And that was like lunch and dinner sometimes.
Did you sneak in like an apple or a meat stick to the soccer game?
I did. I snuck in an apple, and a lot of people were fascinated by that.
Nice.
Because I guess that doesn't happen. It doesn't really happen here.
Would you put it in your hood?
No, I just did pocket, I think.
Okay.
I think I did pocket, and I got in okay. But yeah, food, we ate well. We did good. What else?
What's the most scenic thing that you saw?
That's a good question.
I know.
We
I used to be a travel agent. Did you know that?
Yeah. We ended up in some caves. Some were good caves to be in. Some were not. And some were like we did some cliff stuff. We did some trails.
All super safe.
We did some off trail. I did more off trails.
Yep.
But scenic, like there's one night we ended up on the beach on some cool beach for like sunset, and then we did that, and then quickly kind of got lost and went all the wrong way. So then it was like, hey, we're just gonna explore caves. So we just looked into caves and
while it was dark.
Yeah, sun had set, but it was fine. So we saw a lot of cool stuff. Except the cavemen. No, other than them, no.
Any trogs?
Yeah, other than the trogs and the
couple of trogs. Portuguese trogs.
We saw a lot of good stuff. We saw a lot of cool. It was a good, we saw some scenic stuff. Go ahead. What else do you have to say?
Trogs are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
They're so good.
Tell the people.
No, tell the people.
Okay, go ahead.
No trogs. If you don't know about trogs, just Google it. The troglodytes. They're a really interesting group of individuals.
Yeah,
people. Would you recommend that Canadians go to Portugal?
Yeah, for sure. There's different ways to do it.
I've never been.
It's great. We'll go. I'll bring you.
Okay.
We can meet my guys.
Perfect.
There's like the tourist stuff, the big city stuff, and then there's the like off the beaten path. We're gonna rent a car and go driving.
Lagos.
Yeah, we drove to Lagos. I would call it.
Okay.
And it was great. Yeah, it was very good. Any other like good questions? Any like stories? Dive in. Like, what do we got to cover here?
What was the most memorable thing that you did?
That's an ESPN question.
I know it is, but listen, we're on par with ESPN, so.
No, we're better journalists.
We probably are. Now we are.
What was the coolest? That's such a. I don't know, man. Next question.
Okay, next question. How were the facilities where you stayed?
Airbnbs.
Good.
Pretty cheap. Fine. We weren't there a ton. We didn't sleep a ton. Cleanish. Clean enough.
Okay.
We didn't sleep a ton. So it was just kind of there for a little mattress, and then the odd okay, let's kind of get back, regroup.
Crime?
And then
feel safe?
No, we didn't commit crimes.
No, did you feel safe all the time, pretty much?
I would say I was asked this at work. 1.5 times I felt threatened.
Okay, I think the people deserve to know about those.
No, I don't really want to go into this. Not again.
Just say the places.
Once was on a train. That was
subway or train?
It was, I think, a train.
Okay.
Where it was we actually.
That was a 1 or that was a half?
That was a half. It was we might get jumped. And these guys were like.
Oh, so I heard this one. Then what's the one?
The one is I had a little accident on a cliff. Everything's okay.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't need to go into this.
Okay, but that was just stupidity.
That was just on me. I wouldn't say stupidity. I would say curiosity. I went to a cliff I shouldn't have went to. Okay, I learned my lesson.
Okay, I've done that, so I can't really admonish you.
The wounds on my arms and hands have mostly healed.
Yeah,
mostly.
It's fine. Yeah.
Wash them in the Atlantic Ocean to clean them, and we're good. We're back.
Good.
Any other questions?
No. Good.
Okay, that's good.
I'm glad you went to Portugal. It's good.
Thank you, Portugal. Thanks for having me, Portuguese people.
I just want to say I'm excited about the Tigers. We saw Scooble yesterday at Walmart.
Tell that. That's a good story. Go
so
on. So
Isaac and I had to go to Walmart. Actually, we had to go to Costco
on a Saturday.
I'm not going to say what it's compared to with places on the planet, but there's a couple places on the planet that Isaac and I made some comparisons to. And
not a place you want to be right now.
Not a place you want to be right now. I don't know what possessed us to decide, 1:30 on a Saturday, it's a great time to go to Costco.
I'll tell you what, so I kind of spearheaded it, some stuff I had to get relatively quickly and I didn't want to wait, and then I heard they had special protein drinks, so I'm like, okay, might as well act now, bite the bullet, here's the bullet, let's just go and figure it out. That was the rationale, and then I roped him in.
I played tennis yesterday.
Okay, we don't need the whole agenda,
No, the fans want to know. So I had already felt pretty accomplished. I did some stuff around the house. I'm like, okay, let's just go. I hadn't given any time to Isaac, so I decided, okay, I'm just going to dedicate some time to you.
Thanks.
So we survived Costco, but then we had to go to Walmart.
First of all, barely survived Costco.
Because
real quick, I'll tell this bit. I'm at the cashier. I'm not going to name drop her. Cashier, not having a good day.
Karen.
No, it wasn't actually. I'm not going to say her name. I remember it. And
she probably doesn't listen.
I'm waiting for my dad, who's at toilet paper.
I ran into people. Sorry.
Of course you did, hero.
Of course I did.
And then, so I'm there ready to cash out, and she's not accepting me because
He doesn't have
I
the
don't
card.
have my card. So then she thinks I'm like, I broke in and probably commit crimes. So she's like basically eyeing me saying like, you don't have a card.
But the funny thing is, neither of us had a card when we walked in. And all I did was stare right at the lady who was supposed to be looking for cards. And all she did was look back at me. I think she was afraid to ask me for a card. So we just walked in. So Youngblood went to get his stuff, and I went to get a new card.
So basically, I was at the cashier, and they were going to kick me out.
He almost got arrested.
I saw handcuffs. She had handcuffs that she was actually going to imprison me.
Don't tase me, man.
Yeah, seriously, I put my hands up. I did, actually, because she was like, do you have a card? And I'm like, no, sorry, I don't. And then she kind of took it easy because I got really spooked because she was really confrontational. I'm not a confrontational guy. At Costco on a Saturday afternoon. That's all I have to say. Talk about Walmart and Scoobel. That's where we started.
We didn't get batteries because we didn't get that text until we had already paid.
Thanks,
and going
Ma.
back in there, pretty much I would be sacrificing a kidney. And maybe a child
kid,
as well.
probably me.
And a kid. So then we're like, okay, let's hit Walmart up for some batteries. So we went to Walmart. And who do we see at Walmart?
Tarek Scoobel.
Tarek Scoobel was there. So, we didn't want to be those guys. So what we did is I strategically held up like a Tyrannosaurus Rex with Scoobel placed behind me so I could take pictures.
Now, I might as well say, this was not Tarek Scoobel. But it was the guy who did look like
it. Looked a fair amount like it.
I'll post the picture with Tarek Scoobel. It was great meeting you, Tarek.
Yeah, pleasure meeting you. And so who did you send it to? Who's our Tiger
Goldman.
expert? Jake Oldman.
He's our Tigers insider.
Is the biggest Tiger fan that we know.
Him and Blebs, for sure.
And we're up there.
Yeah.
So pleasure meeting you, Scooby, and back-to-back Cy Young coming your way because you just got good karma from the Canadian Walmart.
Okay, what else do you have to say now?
We do need to talk about movies for a moment or two.
Sure, they're kind of over, but
yeah.
Go ahead, quickly.
So it's the Oscars tonight. I watched 3 Oscar movies over the weekend. Neither of them I would say, you got to watch that.
Neither only applies...
3.
Neither
all
only
3 of them.
applies to 2.
Yeah.
So,
Nickel Boys, good story.
Okay,
Not good. Substance, actually, that was a pretty good story. That was the best of the 3, but it's not enjoyable. It's just like smash in your face. And then the third one was Wicked, that we kind of watched for Mom and Alex, I guess, and it's nominated for Best Picture. We just don't really love the musicals, so I think we can acknowledge it was well done, but it's not something we would enjoy.
Yeah, of all the movies we could have talked about, I'm not talking about those 3.
No.
Especially Wicked, the latter. So if you want to talk about movies, we can talk about movies that are cool.
Who's going to win Best Picture tonight?
It'll probably be Nora.
Who should? Brutalist?
Dune Part 2.
Dune Part 2.
And then Brutalist.
Okay.
And then Nora's great too. But.
Well, we'll do a little Oscar segment next episode.
Sure we will. Brackets, no, we probably won't.
Okay, I've got nothing else off the top. You?
No, just troglodytes, I guess, is worth a Google search.
Trog's worth a Google search.
Yeah.
Okay, Detroit basketball is so back. Obviously, it's a great time to be a sports fan if you live around here. It's just must-see TV, and they're really, really entertaining. I'm glad the world has recognized that Cade Cunningham is that good, right? Like, he's now a top 10 player in the NBA.
Fact.
Like, I don't know what the rankings were, but he was probably like in the 40s or something ridiculous.
A lot of people in the late 60s.
That much?
Yeah, ESPN, I think, was late 60s.
My gosh.
Like 67?
Okay, now, seriously, what is he, 15?
Yeah, all bias aside, Cade is like a consensus top 15 guy.
Yeah.
And then if there is bias like we are, we have him in our top 10.
Yep.
But like realistically, like he's top 15, you just got to accept it. Sorry, Raptors fans. Sorry, Cavs fans.
So can somebody explain to me how the Pistons signed Beasley for 1 year, $6 million?
Yeah, that signing when it happened, I was all over it.
I was all over it too.
Really liked it.
Yeah.
And I'm usually the one to be like, okay, he's a reason. It was $6 million. It was a reason he signed a 1 year, $6 million
Is
contract.
he dinged up? He's got a meniscus issue, or he's a locker room guy who's a problem? No, has no problem coming off the bench. He's leading the league in 3-point makes, ahead of Ant, and he's ahead of Steph Curry. Mm-hmm. And I love the little shuffle he does after he makes them.
Yeah, it's really a nice shuffle. No, I didn't write down a ton on the Pistons. Honestly, I don't have a ton of notes written down, but we'll just talk Pistons, talk ball. It's great to have the Pistons back.
It really is. It's fun. And Detroit is a big, honestly, I think Detroit is first and foremost a football town. When obviously the Lions.
Well, it's called
have
Hockey
shown that.
Town.
I know it's called Hockey Town, but I think it's a bigger basketball town than it is a hockey town now.
I'm gonna disagree. I think, let's say they're both playoffs. Let's say both the Wings and the Stones are in the offs. I think the Wings are going to be a bigger deal.
There's still more corporate money to the Wings for sure.
I'm just trying to think. If I walk downtown Detroit and both are playing, like let's say they're both
more Wings jerseys.
I feel like I'm seeing more.
You might be right.
I'm seeing more winged wheels.
Obviously, we're bigger basketball fans than hockey fans.
But we're not, no disrespect. Like, we
like
hockey.
We like hockey. We appreciate it. And hockey's kind of sucked us back in with the whole Four Nations. We'll talk about that afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about Duran and why the first 2 months of the season he just decided not to really try? And now that he's trying, he's a good building block?
Well, I'm not going to talk about the negatives. I'm talking about Duran. I really liked Duran in college.
You liked Duran in high school.
Yeah, there's a couple guys that I was, kind of in on. And I really liked Duran at Memphis. And I was glad
He only played about 15 minutes at Memphis.
Yeah, I liked all 15. I was glad they drafted him, and he started off the year a little slow, but I was still kind of like, I think he's gonna be great. Like, there was a bunch of stuff when him and Cade were like lighting up Team USA. Do you remember that?
Yes.
When apparently like Cade and Duran took over the Team USA stuff, and like KD and all the old guys were like, "What's going on with these two?"
Yeah.
And then kind of ever since then,
that was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. And then ever since then, it was like, oh, I think Duran's gonna be like a legit guy, and he is a legit guy. Obviously, Cade. We talked about Cade the whole time, but no, Duran. I don't know how he'll see in the playoffs. It's a whole different beast with centers who can't shoot in the playoffs. People forget that.
Listen, he's also still only 21 years old.
Yeah, I am older than him.
Yes.
So, yeah, fact.
That's the thing.
That's my guy.
I think we would be remiss in not talking about Thompson and how he locked up Tatum.
Yeah,
I know Tatum still scored a fair amount of points, but he had like 7 steals that game. Him and Daniels are the two, and his brother Thompson are the 3 best perimeter defensive guys in the league.
That's a good question. I haven't prepared anything on that. Daniels
is there for sure, and Thompson. It's the law firm. Thompson, and Daniels. They'll steal every time.
Yeah, I'll have to look at.
I just made that up. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's really good. It's not.
Yeah, it's good.
No, the Pistons roster, like I just wrote down, it's a very likable roster, led by Cade, who is an incredibly likable guy, and I kind of want to spend some time on Cade here.
Sure, please do.
You can go ahead. We love Cade. He's our guy, but you can start with it.
I like Cade for a number of reasons. One, because he recognizes his role on the team and in the community and as the face of the organization. And he has accepted that role kind of quietly and with grace. And I appreciate that. And I think more and more the fans of Detroit are really starting to love Cade. But now I think you talk to somebody in Memphis and you talk to somebody in Seattle, they're like, man, Cade's awesome.
Memphis, and what's the other place?
Seattle.
Seattle? If you're talking to everybody in Seattle, they're probably just upset that they don't have a basketball team.
Yeah, they had KD for about 4 months.
They'll get one back.
They
Cade,
will.
I'm glad you talked about that aspect of Cade, not the basketball aspect. Because I think you said it. You've said this. He gets it.
He does.
And it's a very broad statement. But if you think about it, it kind of means...
you know.
It means a few different things. But Cade is a guy that gets it. And I don't even want to get into the basketball stuff with him yet. Because obviously that's coming there. But I wrote down the 2 guys in the last, let's call it 25 years of NBA basketball that have gotten it the most. Cade's not one of them, but there are 2, like I'm talking from let's say 2000 to now, 2 guys that have gotten it the most.
Say Kobe.
No.
Grant Hill?
No. Let's see if we define getting it the right way. I'll give you one.
As the face of the league?
As the face of the league, face of a team, captain, leader, all-encompassing, team before me. So I'll give you one of the 2.
Dirk?
I don't have Dirk, but Dirk is close. I thought about Dirk. 1, I have Steph Curry.
Okay. Yeah, Steph Curry, that's an easy one.
So Steph Curry, just in terms of a guy who gets it. He gets what it means to be the face of a franchise, to run a team, to be the man. Curry got it as well as anybody else. And then there's another guy pre-Curry that I'm kind of surprised you're not getting.
Give me a hint.
Tim Duncan is the hint.
Oh, yeah. Big fundamental. For sure.
Just in terms of...
No drama.
You can break it down.
Classy leader. Listen, I think fans and people in the city really appreciate it. In the city, wherever your superstar is, they appreciate it if they think that superstar is thankful for their support, right? Well, because people love Cade, they cheer for him, and you can see him when he goes places. Who's that guy who got all the attention from Australia last week? He came down, Jack or something.
Josh Giddey?
No, the fan who does podcasts.
Oh, Pistons Jack. Yeah.
Pistons Jack. Cade was talking to him.
Yeah.
That's awesome, and he's just a Australian fan. I think, we obviously love that, but I think regular people are just man, that's good. Whereas the other guys who don't give a crap, they might give a little dab here and there, but they don't care about the fans. Dab.
So
Dab, D-A-B.
So I think they would do a dap. rather than a
Dap?
dab. A dab? What's a dab?
Dab is like, give me dab me up.
No.
Isn't that not it? What is it?
Like a dab. Like, what's a dance? Do you know that? Like, dab? Do you remember that?
Nope.
Wow. Okay, never mind. Anyways,
What's it called when you give me knuckles?
I would say dap.
Dap?
I would say a soft
It's a
P.
dab.
It's soft P. It's dap.
No, fans, you got to tell us because I think he's wrong.
Okay.
And if he's wrong on this one, whew,
Okay.
that's terrible.
Cade's guy gets it. Cade gets it. I'm not saying he's on the level of Steph Curry. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 10 guy of all time because that's where Steph is and that's where Tim Duncan is as well.
Yep.
And Tim Duncan, knock. He's knocking at the top 5 door too. Just so you know. Just so you ball
Yeah,
know.
Tim Duncan is probably.
I don't have him at 5, but he's probably 6 or 7.
I would say 8.
I think I have him ahead of Kobe.
I think so.
All right.
Everybody loves Kobe. Good
right.
mentality. Ran through Paul Gasol. I get all that. Right? He made his 2 free throws with his foot hanging off. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
But he helped the Pistons win the championship in 2004.
Kobe did.
Kobe did.
That's a whole different topic.
Yeah. And I don't think he was on the Pistons team.
No. So guys, I get it. Tim Duncan, he got it. Curry gets it. I think Victor gets it. We'll see that because he's still very young, but I think Victor gets it. And it's kind of this anti-NBA superstar kind of thing where it's like Kobe. I don't want to keep doing the Kobe bit. Let's do Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards could be like a face of the league kind of guy, the man on Team USA next time around, like all that stuff. But like, I don't know if he gets it like how Curry gets being.
No, and LeBron has actually tried to pass the mantle to him. He's like, no thanks.
And notice I didn't
He declined the dab.
Notice I didn't mention LeBron as someone who gets it.
No, he's too much into himself.
Exactly.
Take my talents to South Beach.
Right? Like I would say.
How's that aging?
Like, Michael's the GOAT. Did Michael get it? I think he did.
Michael got it. Yeah.
I think he did. But I would say, like, when I think of like the ultimate kind of like team leader captain guy, I think Steph and Duncan before I think Mike. Maybe I'm nuts. Bill Russell got it.
Sure.
That's a good example of somebody who got it.
Kareem.
Kareem, yeah, I think Kareem got it. But anyways, that's enough like historicals. I just wanted to talk about Cade as a guy who's the man.
Okay, a couple more Pistons notes. Can you please tell me the player who's made the most money in NBA history and has not made an All-Star team?
Probably Tobias Harris, right?
Boom!
Yeah.
Good call, young blood.
Yeah.
Because he made a boatload of money with Philadelphia. Like, I think he had a max.
Just about, yeah.
And I don't think he's ever been close to an All-Star.
I would have to look at the numbers. I don't know. I wonder if there was a couple of years where then the East was kind of middling, like 14, 15, 16 range, where he was on like Orlando or like or like Philly, a really good stint in Detroit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Harris is not an All-Star guy, but
he's actually played a little bit better in the last few weeks, so I give him some credit. Mm-hmm. He's like, if he's more than your third guy on your team, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
He'd probably be the number one guy in Philly right now, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later if you wanted to, right?
I need to give a little bit of love to JB Bickerstaff. He should win Coach of the Year. I know Kenny Atkinson's getting lots of love in Cleveland. Listen, they started the year with pretty much 4 All-Stars or sub-All-Stars. Then they picked up another guy, Hunter, who's a solid player. Now, I think, and I remember people saying, oh, that JB over Monty is worth at least 10 more wins. And I'm like, come on, does it make that big a difference? It does. Monty wanted to get fired. Can we just say that? Can we clear that up?
I don't want to talk about the Monty. I want to talk about this new Pistons.
What about
regime.
No Skillion?
I don't.
Because he played last night.
The thing is, like, I remember, like, I don't love doing the conspiracy theory thing. Actually, like, legitimately, like, I don't like actually doing the conspiracy theory thing. I like joking about it. The Monty Williams conspiracy theories that you can make, like, he legitimately wanted to get fired.
Yep.
I think hold up even better now than they did last year. Because I remember I was saying this last year, where it's like, this guy who wants to lose his job. And we might have been upset Pistons fans because they lost 28. We were upset
Pistons fans.
28 in a row or whatever it was. Was it 28? Do you remember?
Like 2 months. It was 28 games in a row.
Yeah, that's a long time of losing. But we're back.
They've already won more games this season than the last 3.
Yeah, good stat. What a great stat.
Ooh, maybe not last 3. Last 2.
Bickerstaff, I love Bickerstaff. I'm really glad they brought him in. I'll just give you a quick one. In 2004, the Pistons' name was Going to Work, right? They were the Going to Work Pistons. And then before that, they're the Bad Boys Pistons. So now everyone's trying to give these new Pistons a name. Have you heard this?
Yeah.
No, I don't love it because, you know, we're in like halfway through one good season.
Yeah.
Those 2 teams have championships, right? Yeah. But we're still doing it anyways. So I'm going to give you my 2 favorite Pistons names. There's the Back to Work Pistons, which is a very simple one. It
Okay.
plays off the last one because the Pistons.
Back to work.
It's like Pistons are back to work. So it's like, oh, we're going to see the back to work Pistons tonight. And then my favorite, might be too like nerdy Englishy, is the Bickerstaff.
Oh, that's
So the
pretty
coach JB Bickerstaff, someone's like, oh yeah, the Bickerstaff tonight. Or say like Bickerstaff, they're going to work tonight. I really like that because I think Bickerstaff is such a big part of this.
Listen,
like,
it's a good play on words or word, but I don't think that's
so
gonna
back to work
I-
Pistons is going to stick?
Yeah. Do you think Bickerstaff is going to look cool in a shirt?
I would wear that shirt. Okay, what else do you have to talk about with the Pistons?
That's it. Thank you for bringing Detroit basketball back.
Okay, are they winning a playoff series this year?
No. Although, if they play Indianapolis,
Yeah, we'll get there.
then we're talking.
Okay, so let's talk about the NBA proper now, and then we'll get
Okay.
back to the Pistons.
Just some takes.
Sure.
I just go 1-1-1-1.
Go ahead.
I feel bad that Wemby's got his blood clot. I really hope he comes back because he is great for the league. So much fun to watch. A good dude. He tries.
Good dude. You met him?
Yeah. He was a guest on the pod. I don't know. That might have been episode 144 and a half. I'm not sure if we aired that one.
Okay.
It's just bad for the league when he misses. I hope he comes back. Great, because I love Wemby.
Michigan's getting blown out, so I'm in no rush to go back to watch. It's
Poop.
fine. The Lakers conference finals.
No.
When are they going to lose?
When are they going to lose? Yeah. Where are they going to end up?
3. Very well could end up at
So
3.
tell me who they're going to play.
It depends.
They play Golden State?
That's what the people
That
are
would
saying.
be great.
That's what streets are saying. You think they maybe win one series? They don't win 2.
Maybe one series.
Okay.
But certainly not two.
Okay. So I still am more
Because
optimistic.
here's the deal. There's 2 teams on both conferences. I just jumped to that point right now. It's going to be the OKC Thunder, and it's going to be Denver. Like, I know Memphis is good, but they're not. Like, those are the 2 that are going to be in the finals.
In the West.
Western
Yeah,
Conference
yeah.
finals.
Okay, that's interesting.
You disagree with that?
No, I think the Lakers can make some noise. I think Lakers can make some noise. Sorry.
Well, it's funny because this is the year that Dallas should win.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they'll make the playoffs.
Do you want to? Okay. Do you have more point? Like, what do you want to? Like, let's just hone this in.
Cade, I already talked to about. I think we should talk about the Warriors a little bit. I know they had a bad loss last night. That's because Jimmy was resting.
Jimmy rested. Yeah.
They're fun to watch. We watched a decent amount of Jimmy on, was it Friday, where he just scored 56 points or something?
That was
Thursday?
when Steph scored 56.
Steph,
Jimmy
yeah,
just
sorry.
helped him.
Yeah, Jimmy just helped him. But they're fun to watch, and now the free throw discrepancy is swung back totally the Warriors' way. They've got their role players. Who's their young guy who's super athletic who's been injured?
Kuminga.
When's he coming back?
Like soon, like next game or 2.
That's another big piece for. Can he play Green's minutes sometimes at the 5?
Super small, but yeah, you could get away with that very briefly. Put Jimmy at the 4. That's fine.
Okay, because that would be a fun lineup.
Yeah. Warriors are back. They should make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. Again, the league is much better if Steph's in the playoffs.
Yep. What else do you have?
Can you name me a bigger disappointment than the Philadelphia 76ers in the last few years?
Okay, look, I
This
remember.
is an ESPN one.
It is super ESPN-y. Going into the season, I was going through the finals odds, and I think the Sixers had the 4th most likely odds to win it all.
Really?
Let's not revision. Let's not
Wow.
be revisions of history. Revisionists of history. Let's not do that. A lot of people were on Philly. I remember super zagging and being like, I don't buy it. I don't buy the PG thing.
No. Well, we didn't think PG could stay healthy.
But I
He
was like
hasn't.
I was super out. Like, I remember being like,
PG's now a role player.
it was like, I'll take the Knicks over them. I'll take all those. I'll take the Bucks. I'll take the Celtics. I'll take the Cavs. I remember being out on Philly.
Yep.
And then this happens, obviously. So I know you want to talk about Embiid. It's only a disappointment if you had expectations. And I had 0 expectations for the Sixers. And, when you make a culture of losing and you try to start winning after losing for 10 years, it's hard to just flip a switch like that and instill a winning culture in a group of guys, in a whole locker room, in an organization. So that's kind of my Sixers take. What do you want to say? You got to talk about Embiid.
I guess we'll talk about Embiid now. So I had the question. Things that are more likely to happen than Joel Embiid playing 82 games. So I think it's now time for both of us to officially declare for the 2025 NBA draft. and each of us would get drafted. Those things are more likely to happen than Joel Embiid play 82 games.
Good one.
Fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
What else?
Can I make fun of Carson on this, or is that no? Can't
Nope.
make fun of that?
Nope.
Okay, the NRL gets picked up by ESPN nationally. The NRL is Isaac's buddies basketball league.
Mm-hmm.
It's more likely that ESPN 8 runs the NRL finals than Joel Embiid plays 82 games in a
Yeah,
year.
I take some of that action.
Yeah. It's more likely that Javi Baez hits 300 with 30 home runs
I'm so anti-bias. Actually, I'm
than
going to say
Joel Embiid plays 82 games.
Embiid's playing 82. Yeah, before that.
For sure. Killian Hayes plays next year for the Nets and wins
So these are just
comeback
dumb and
player
not
of the
really
year.
funny?
They're a little bit funny.
Kind of some of them were.
The official
So it's
declaring
out
for the
now.
draft is a real thing.
That was the first one, and then it just slowly got worse.
Well, I only wrote down 2. The last couple I've just
Okay.
made up.
Okay, Anthony Edwards. Do you want to talk about freeing him?
Yes.
Go ahead, free him.
So they set their team up terribly. So now it's Ant and a bunch of guys who are just not so good. Old man Mike Conley, who everybody loves,
I love
can't play anymore.
He's 100.
He's old now.
Yeah.
That French guy, nobody loves croissant,
Yeah.
right? Like he just is
Pain
terrible
au
and a
chocolate.
terrible
What are those called?
pain au chocolat. We got some of them upstairs.
Yeah. Pass.
Chocolate croissant. Who else do they have on their team? Oh, I like their big guy. They're back at
Nas
big.
Reed, we like.
Nas Reed, I like.
Actually, we'll
but-
free him with Ant. Let's package them together.
So what's going to happen there? Because
Detroit.
he's probably going to say, I don't want to play here anymore.
Yeah, I feel like that'll happen. And, if he was smart, he'd want to either do one of two things. You get out of the West, because the West is a scary place to be with LeBron and Victor. Or,
LeBron and Victor? Maybe Shea and Victor.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You get out of the West to get away from Victor.
Or you
and
go on to
Luka.
OKC.
Or that's less likely. I feel like San Antonio would be more likely.
Yeah.
Where you call Victor and you say, "Hey,
I'd
bonjour,
like to play
Victor.
with you.
Jouer basketball avec me." You
Yeah.
know, just like that. My French is still good, baby. I spoke
Remember
a
when
lot.
we spoke French?
I spoke a lot of French in Europe.
Just terrible French.
Yeah, but all the French loved it. Actually,
They did?
yeah, they loved it.
You wore Canadian flag stuff all the time, right?
Yeah, because a couple times people guessed I was American and be like, "No, man, Canadian," and we're gonna leave it at that.
And then you got dabbed up. Or dapped up.
See how it's dap, not dabbed
It's
up.
dab.
You just okay, man.
Fans, let us know.
If the Cavs are the 1 seed, do you think they make the finals?
I still have Boston.
Okay, another one. Pistons. If they play the Knicks, Bucks, Pacers in round 1, we're going round 2, baby. We're beating all those 3 teams. All
I
of them.
worry about Giannis.
Brackets. I worry a ton about Giannis.
Okay.
But we'd still beat them. I saw it. I foresee it.
Okay.
Pacers. I am so confident that we would beat the Pacers.
Pacers, like, I don't know what happened to Halberton. What's it? Tyrese Halberton.
Yeah.
See, I
what is the name?
It's Halberton.
You're skipping a whole letter. It's a whole letter you just removed from that.
What is it?
You have to figure it out.
Doesn't matter. Tyrese.
No.
Tyrese H, the guy who used to be an all-star point guard,
Yeah.
but now can't shoot anything inside the three-point line, and his three-point game isn't as good as it was before either.
Here's what happened. We'll play Indiana, and if we can if we go back there for a 7th game, because game 6 will be in Detroit. I'm just figuring out. We'll go back to Indiana. We'll text those funny guys that we met at the stadium. We got.
Oh
those
my God, we had
tickets.
so much fun with them.
And
That's
then
the toughest stadium we've ever been into to move down.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So hard.
And then the Knicks. I actually think the Pistons match up very well with the Knicks.
Yes, the Knicks do not want Detroit.
No, not at all.
No.
And like a playoff series in the Garden, these boys are ready for it. Young guys want it, right?
Yes, they
They're
do.
too young to know what it means to have a playoff series in the
Yeah,
Garden.
they would
They're
just get
gonna
all pumped up and go.
Yeah. What else do you have to say?
I think we need to talk about the worst trade in NBA history a little bit more. Love the fact that Luka hit him up last week and then looked over. And I like how he handled it. He said it's going to hurt for a while. He was honest about it. But then when he said he was looking over at the bench, he wasn't looking over at, what's the GM's name? Nico
Harrison. He was looking at Kid, right?
I don't know. But it appeared as though he was looking at Nico.
Yeah, he probably was. The whole conspiracy thing with who
The
knew.
kid knew.
I don't think Kid knew.
And you heard the rumor that they actually called Minnesota about Ant, and Minnesota shut
Yeah,
that down.
that reeks of Nico Harrison trying to cover his tracks.
Yeah, that's fake.
Yeah, there's no way that's true.
That's Nico's nephew throwing that on Twitter.
Completely agree with you.
Yeah.
The finals odds. So you've got the Celtics and the Thunder basically even. Like they're right there, those two.
Okay.
And then a big drop off to the Cavs, and then a big drop off to the Nuggets, and then a slight drop to the Lakers.
Yeah, see, I think it's one of those four. That's it. Like, and Lakers are not part of it. I'm not including them in the four.
Celtics, Thunder, Cavs, Nuggets. Those are the
Celtics,
four.
Thunder, Cavs, Nuggets.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think it's going to be Thunder and Celtics. And I'm picking the Thunder.
If you had one upset, like if one of the Thunder or the Celtics don't come out of there.
It'd be Lakers or Warriors going over the Nuggets.
So you think it's more likely that the Lakers or the Warriors go over the Thunder eventually?
Yeah, because I don't think any of the other teams in the East are very good.
Then the Cavs to beat the Boston Celtics?
Oh, sorry. No, I'm not saying that.
What's more like, I'm saying Cavs beating the Celtics, like Field versus Celtics, Field versus Thunder. One of them is going to be Field. What Field do you pick?
Boy. To make it or to win it all?
Let's go make it.
The Thunder probably have a tougher road.
The
But it's
Thunder have a
really,
tougher
really
road.
close.
But the Celtics, I don't know. Celtics are very, very scary team. Don't tell Uncle Phil and Colin I said
They
this.
absolutely are a scary team. Too bad they saw them lose last week.
That is a little funny. Auntie Steph was on her birthday, our day before birthday. Shout out Auntie Steph.
Yeah, shout out Auntie Steph.
I think was probably repping Pistons merch. I feel like she was there.
Oh,
as a
she's a
Pistons
Pistons fan.
Yeah, so that's great.
But then Uncle Phil and the cousins are just Celtics fans for some reason.
I don't want to talk about Defensive Player of the Year because it's just sad. But like it's just Mobley by default now, which really sucks.
No. Jaren Jackson.
It'll be Mobes, I think, but that's fine.
Okay.
What? Do you have another take or?
No, that was it.
Okay, great, wonderful,
Perfect. NBA. Done. We're going to talk about hockey for a couple minutes.
Oh, man.
We do. So, first of all,
hey, man, I'm out.
thank you for
Appreciate
giving
you.
us our flag back.
Thanks
Talk
for
about
listening.
uniting the country. Four nations. And let's
we go.
compare the four nations. Those guys are kicking the crap out of each other.
Now it's political.
For a four-team... No, I'm
better
making
than
fun
20,
of the, making
better
fun
than
of the
20
NBA.
million.
Yeah, it's pretty much Rocky. It's Rocky 4.
Okay, go talk about
they,
hockey.
They stopped the Cold War. Did you know that?
Talk about hockey.
3 fights in the first 90 seconds in a round-robin game in a Four Nations Cup shows you how much there was into this. This is pretty much India and Pakistan. It suddenly turned into the biggest rivalry in sports. It used to be Russia and the USA. Now it's not. It's Canada and the USA in hockey. Canada thought it had a goalie issue. Bennington was pretty good, but then in the third period and overtime of the final game, lights out. So good. Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Cole Makar, 3 best players in the world right now who played. Now Draisaitl, he's pretty good too. He didn't play. So thank you, Canada. Kachuk boys, I give you some credit for mucking it up. Americans had some injuries that certainly hurt them, but thank you for giving us hockey back, and I'm excited about hockey now.
Yeah, Four Nations came at the perfect time.
Do you have anything intelligent to add?
So I watched probably more than you, but I'm just not going to yap about it and act like I know a lot. All right,
Got
PK
me-
Subban.
got me excited. PK
I
Subban.
didn't know I'm co-ghost with PK Subban right here, man.
No, PK Subban went kind of off. He was cheering for the U.S. and he was goofy.
I'm not a Subban guy. Never was.
No.
Like during his hockey days, and now everyone, the
Yeah.
analyst thinks he's so smart. That's a whole different thing. Hockey, it was great. Four Nations. I talked to Uncle Dan about it, who's like our big hockey guy.
Yeah, he's our hockey insider.
I'm like, it just came at the perfect time. Four Nations came at the perfect time. It was very smart by hockey, right? Basketball was off, was doing their all-star thing. Spring training hadn't really started. Football, Super Bowl, all that stuff had wrapped up, but right before the draft, like in that small window where the NFL isn't buzzing. And Four Nations had this awesome thing that happened to be like surged with like geopolitical drama.
Oh, the timing was spectacular with that.
So you've got all this stuff that made Four Nations like a big deal. So I was getting up for it.
Was you Pedro right next to me? You just transformed into Pedro.
Well, I actually
Shout out Pedro.
Thank you. I'm actually educated on like real life stuff too.
We actually know real stuff as well. We do.
Okay.
People just think
Now
we're a
we're-
couple of sports idiots, but we know real stuff, geopolitical things,
etc.
etc.
No, so hockey was great. It was really good stuff. I was very confident in one of Canada or US, so this was kind of my sharp thing. Overseas, you can't gamble. Or like in Portugal. So what I did is I placed 2 significant futures on Canada and the US and went to Portugal. So it was just like, as long as one of these 2, and I kind of made insured profit and had a great time. And then Finland, Sweden lost. So I'm like, I'm going to win. Let's
So
hope Canada wins.
you were 5 or 6 hours behind. So what time were you watching these games?
So we didn't really get into my sleep schedule.
You
The
didn't sleep very much.
So it would be like, if you just think about it, Pistons tip off at 7 p.m. here. They tip off at midnight there. I got to watch my boys.
Yeah.
So I'm watching every Pistons game no matter where I am.
Jack staying up watching too?
No, he was asleep a lot of time.
Okay.
And I would be at a bar or a beach or something, and I'd just be like with my phone watching ball, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, well, like the Pistons play," and it's like, "Who are the Pistons?" They don't know. They don't care.
No, they don't.
And then it's like, "Oh, I want to watch the Lakers game at 10:30 tip off Eastern." That's 3:30 in Portugal.
Ooh.
So, and then there's a couple times where it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go to sleep, wake up, watch the fourth quarter Lakers game.
Nice. So you sleep from midnight till
Like just
5 or so.
Not a lot less than that. Kind of like a little like halftime, miss some of the second quarter.
Oh, got it. So you just take a little
Yeah,
napetizer.
yeah. I just napped during some of the games.
Napetizer is what it's called.
So if you just think about timelines, it's like, oh, big Lakers game. It starts at 3:30, and then like Four Nations started at, I think it started
Mostly 7.
Was it 7?
Oh, it's
you
just
guys?
some 8 o'clock games.
I think it was 8 for you guys.
Yeah.
The final I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So the final would have been at 1.
Was it probably started around 8:30?
I remember very well. It was 100% 1 a.m.
Yeah.
for me. So I'm out watching 1 a.m., made friends, watching with friends outside, all across the whole country of Portugal. I just always had it on my phone, no matter where we were. Data's reception was great.
Nice. That's
So I was
good.
able to watch all the final.
Win.
Win?
That's a win.
Like Rocky? Oh, yeah, it's a win. It was
Yeah,
great.
we'll win like Rocky,
So
too.
thanks, Four Nations. I watched it all overseas.
Okay,
Good
thanks
job.
for giving us hockey back.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple things coming up in the next little while we haven't really talked about. We got to get Wiz on for his annual NCAA
I need March Madness.
inside information.
I need March Madness to
we
save me.
need some March Madness.
Oh, man. We're sleeping in not even next month, the one after. When is that? June?
What do you mean?
No, May? When are we sleeping? We're not sleeping in March.
Oh, should we apologize to Mom already?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably write a note.
And I'm going to
apologizing for-
Cleveland to watch March Madness.
Yeah.
So save me March, save me basketball.
Good. Awesome.
There's going to be a lot of basketball on here for the month of March.
Okay, I know we haven't done it for a little while, but fans have been talking to me about an NBA movie character draft. So that's coming up soon.
Great.
And if you don't want to do it, we'll bring somebody else in who wants to do
Like
it.
who? BK Subban? Who are you going to bring on?
Braden,
Oh, you can bring Braden to replace me. Good.
for sure.
That's great.
Block A, Wiz would do it for sure. Bow would do it.
Yeah.
Urban Paul.
Yeah.
Shout out Urban Paul
Yeah.
and the nice pin.
That's a pin of him.
Okay. Beard approved.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, fans, for tuning in. 41 minutes. Not the most hot time of sports. So
I'm just going to stop if you
could.
don't.
Okay. See you, fan.